In this video, we'll find the fractional part of x plus the fractional part of negative x, given the fractional part of x equals x minus the floor of x. And also the fractional part of y is between 0 and 1, and it can include 0. So if y is an integer, then it would be, then the fractional part of y would be 0. And also if the floor of y is n, which is an integer, then y is between n and n plus 1, and y can be equal to n when obviously y is an integer. So let's say we have the fractional part of 5.6. This will be 5.6 using this definition minus the floor of 5.6. So this will be 5.6. You can use this definition. So this will be minus 5. This will be 0.6, which makes sense. So I rewrote the floor of the fractional part of x plus the fractional part of negative x. So this will be x minus the floor of x. Add it with plugging in negative x to that equation. That would be negative x minus the floor of negative x. X and negative x will be canceled. This will be negative floor of x minus floor of negative x. So let's look at the difference between the floor of negative x versus the floor of x. So let's say we have a integer, or the quantity floor of negative 5.6. So this is actually going to go down to the next integer. So this will be negative 6, which we can write negative 6 as negative 5 plus 1. What is 5? Well, we know that the floor of 5.6 is 5, like we discussed earlier. So this will be the floor of 5.6 plus 1. So we can write the floor of negative x as negative the floor of x minus 1. And we'll just use that x is not an integer for this case. So if case 1 for the fractional part of x plus the fractional part of negative x, if x is an integer, we immediately get 0. So that is case 1. If x is an integer, then we immediately get 0. And let me rewrite the epsilon so people don't get mad at me in the comments. Okay. So case 2. Obviously the other case would be x is not an integer. So in this case, we can use that the floor of negative x is negative floor of x minus 1, like we discussed earlier. Okay, so what we have left is, let's look, negative floor of x minus negative floor of x minus floor of negative x. And let's use this equation we discussed. So this will be negative floor of x minus this, which is here. So that would be negative floor of x minus 1. Okay? Now this is the same thing as this, but it's just subtracting each other. So that and this will cancel. Negative, negative will cancel, leaving us with positive 1. So what we have now is the fractional part of x plus the fractional part of negative x is, well, two cases. So 0, obviously, if x is an integer. We got 1 if x is not an integer. And that is the end of the video. Hope you liked it.